It's Sharla K coming live to you guys with another Forever Friends Academy. How you guys doing? Happy Thursday. I was on a little bit and then I saw that I didn't have my Instagram folks on. So, I could not. It would not be the same. So hopefully I can get you guys back on with me, those of you who are on with me on the other platforms. But I just wanted to make sure all of my people were here and so I can have a nice little conversation with you guys. But good night. Happy Thursday. We are almost to Friday. Friday, y'all. Hopefully, you guys have been having a great week. And Memorial Day is coming up. I don't know where everyone is, but definitely I have been very happy in my little sunshine bag because where I live, it's actually feeling like summer is approaching. The weather has been really beautiful, so I've been very happy about that. So I'm excited about Memorial Day kicking it off because that's usually when everybody feels like okay, summertime. So hopefully you guys, I don't know where everybody lives, but some of you were already in the sunshine, right? But so yeah, I've been feeling good with that. Of course, let me introduce myself for any newcomers who might be on tonight. My name is Sharla Kornegay. I'm an author, a recording artist, founder of Interask Coaching, as well as Forever Friends Academy, which is my group coaching subscription-based membership. And this is my show called by the same name, Forever Friends Academy. So hopefully you found me in my little space on the internet, and hopefully you'll hear something that resonates with you. We talk about all relationship topics, and I am a wholehearted firm believer in love. I believe that love is God, God is love, and that everything that we do here is centered around love. And so my purpose, my mission, my aim in doing this and writing the songs that I write and just all of who I am is to help people increase their capacity to love to their fullest capacity, not just to show up for the people who God has destined to be in their life, for them to be stewards over or to engage with, but also it just helps, right? Once you learn how to love to your fullest capacity, it's very hard to extend that to someone else without that process going through yourself, right? Or your own developmental process. So once you get there, you can kind of boldly go through life, and when life swings at you, or as I should say, brings challenges your way, then you can stand. You can stand firmly in who you are, and then just, increase your capacity to love and to grow, and you just become stronger and stronger. So that is the mission here. And my main approach in doing that is, of course, creating an authentic and safe space to talk about all relationship issues, but mainly to introduce some fundamental principles that I firmly believe that you can kind of use to build, whatever relationship that you're in, because that's the great thing about fundamental principles is that God's truth covers everything, right? It's all across the board. So the principles that I introduce here, you can put it into your marriage, you can put it into your familial relationships, you can put it into your working relationships, your friendships, etc., all across the board. So relationships are a core component of life, so if we're going to build them, we want to build on a strong, sturdy foundation that won't break. So that's basically the breakdown of who I am, my purpose, and as well, let me not forget about the music aspect of it. On the stage, I go by Sharla K. Feel free, just either Google Sharla K, that's with an S, Sharlak, and maybe go on Spotify. It's everywhere. YouTube, iTunes, whatever music platform it is that you listen to, or of your choice. You can prayerfully, I hope you peruse through my music and find something that you like. All you're gonna get there is love and inspiration as well, and definitely as far as I guess I don't really want to say a genre, but you'll basically find upbeat songs. You'll find some slow songs. I think I like to write a lot of anthems, catchy anthems that people, can catch on to really quickly, and they're very empowering. So I guess if I was to kind of give myself, I don't like to cap myself at all. I like to leave the creativity as open as possible. But I guess if you're a person who likes, catchy anthems, I guess I'm the artist for you. So that's enough about me. And tonight we are going to get into a good conversation. Now, usually, and I'm trying to remember, I was on Sunday, and Sunday nights I usually give a scenario, but I think, oh, I did give a scenario. Now it just dawned on me that I played a video for the scenario that we usually have on Sundays. Usually I'll create it myself, and I came across this video, and we talked about, can a man lead without God? But I wanted to give a scenario tonight. It's not the norm, but we can change it up a little. It's fine. And I wanted to see and get your thoughts on it. But before I do that, I'm going to put out the quote for tonight as well as my question for tonight. And if you've come on any of the platforms, I put the question already in the title. So you'll see that. So I guess I'll put out the question and then I'll do the quote since the question is in the title. So the question for tonight is, what do you deserve in relationships? The question for tonight is, what do you deserve in relationships? So feel free to, think about it, ponder, and give me your feedback. And the quote for tonight, I really like it. I'm still kind of reworking it. It is something that I kind of came up with as I was thinking about presenting this to you guys. So I'm going to read it because, like I said, I'm still fine tuning and tweaking it. I don't know, might maybe change a little. But I'll give you what I have so far, but I want to read it and make sure that it's right. Mr. Outlandish, how are you? Thank you for coming on. I put out a question, so feel free to answer it. And the question is, what do you deserve in relationships? And I'm just going to read a quote that I came up with for tonight's podcast. And I was telling them, I'm still kind of like, I think I'll tweak it a little bit, rework it, but I'm going to give it to you how I have so far. So, what I have so far. So, the quote goes like this: you cannot say the word deserve without saying the word serve. So, instead of focusing on what you deserve to get and experience in a relationship, think about what you have to offer and how well you'll serve in it. All right, so let me say that because I think it's a mouthful. And I guess maybe I should have waited to give you guys the quote, right? Because I feel like now that I gave you the quote, it's going to probably change some of the answers to the question. But I don't know, we'll see. I'll state both again. So the question for tonight is, what do you deserve in a relationship? And the quote for tonight that I'm currently still working on, but I'll give you what I have, is, you cannot say the word deserve without saying the word serve. So instead of focusing on what you deserve to get and experience in a relationship, think about what you have to offer and how well you serve in it. All right, let me say it again because I feel like it is a mouthful. That's probably why I want to tweak it a little bit. Like, how can I make this more succinct and concise? So let me say it again. Hey, Maya, how are you? You really didn't miss anything. I'm just throwing out the question and the quote for tonight. So again, for the last time, I think, the question for tonight is, what do you deserve in a relationship? And the quote for tonight is, you cannot say the word deserve without saying the word serve. So instead of focusing on what you deserve to get an experience in a relationship, think about what you have to offer and how well you'll serve in it. All right. Good evening, love. Good evening. Thank you for popping in with me. I actually came on earlier, and for some reason, I don't know, it just disappeared. The Instagram platform, and I was like, I cannot lose my Instagram, folks, because you guys come in hard with me when I'm on here. So I was like, I gotta be able to talk to my peeps. So I actually came off and came back on again just to make sure I was able to, be live on all the platforms. So I appreciate all of you guys who are, coming back on with me, even though it was a later time. So that is the question. That is the question for tonight. And like I said, I'm going to kind of wrap it into a scenario because I came across this video, which I am going to show to you guys. And I was like, this would be, I think I can connect a great scenario with this video that I came across. So, oh, good. Go ahead. Yay. Maya said she just got from work and she's about to work out. Okay, I love to hear that. That's right. Take care of you. I love it. All right. So, yeah, so I'm going to wrap it into a scenario for you guys. And while hopefully you guys are thinking, and I know it takes a while to type. So I'm going to kind of say the scenario and how I'm going to put it together. And then, of course, whatever feedback you guys give me, I'll take a moment and pause and then, read some of your statements that you kindly take such good timing to write to engage with me. So the scenario goes like this. We have two, I don't know, what would I call them? Because I don't even like the term dating, but I'm just going to put it out there just to kind of make it clear, So let's say, well, I don't even know. I don't really want to put them in a dating phase yet. Let's just say that there are two friends that are trying to see if they're potentially good to kind of elevate their friendship into, something more. And let's make it that they're both college students. Let's make it that they're both college students. They met each other around freshman year. Let's give them a good hearty background. They met each other around freshman year. And now let's say it's sophomore year and they're kind of seeing each other more often on the campus. They both live on campus. And with them seeing each other more, and let's make them be in one class together so that they have some more time to kind of get to know each other. So as they're getting to know each other, they're seeing that there might be, I don't know, some interest, some intrigue, some spark there to want to learn more about each other. And let's say they just go out, just to hang out on some of the campus events, and everything is great. It's amicable. They have a great time with each other. And the gentleman who is, interested in the woman decides to go on her social media. Let's say he goes on her Instagram, right? He goes onto her Instagram just to kind of see, like we all, like that's right, that's a thing. That's a beautiful thing right now. You can just about research. I know it's beautiful on one hand and then not so beautiful on the other, but you can basically go up and look up anybody, right, that you want. So nonetheless, he goes on her Instagram. He's perusing through some of her videos just to kind of see what her social media presence is. And then he embarks and he comes upon a video that was like maybe made like a year and a half ago. But in the video, she's basically having an emotional moment. And in the video, she's having an emotional moment and she's saying how exhausted and frustrated and tired she is from not being able to find someone that she can connect with and someone who she feels like is for her. And so in the video, she's expressing her feelings, and a lot of the wording that she's using is, what she feels like she deserves. And, it's a lot of I's, not a lot of we's in the video that she's sharing. And so when he sees that video, it kind of basically turns him off from her and kind of waves a nice little big red flag for him. And, slowly but surely he starts to kind of distance himself. And then she kind of wonders why, he's doing that. So let's just say another time, maybe after class, she talks to him and says, we were hanging out, everything seemed really great, but I realized that you are kind of distancing, or at least it seems that you're distancing yourself from me. And then he's honest with her and he tells her, yeah, I am. I was really, really intrigued with you. However, I did go on your social media and I saw there was a video on it that really kind of made me pause on trying to pursue to see where this would lead, if it would lead, to something greater. And she asked him, of course, what the video was and why. And he basically said for two reasons. One, he just seeing someone kind of vent out their emotions on social media is one, a very big red flag for him. And then two, he said because of the the phrasing or the language that you used, it just seemed to come off very selfish. And I wasn't, certain that that is somebody that I'd like to be in a relationship with. So that's the scenario. Of course, she's like, it was a year and a half ago in real time, us hanging out. It seemed to be, everything seemed well. You've heard me in real time where I am right now. So I don't think you should really judge me based off of that video. And he says, well, the video's still up. you know, I get it. If you feel like you've changed and we've only really started to get to know each other. So of course, as we get to know each other more and dive in, I don't know if those things are going to come up, So that's basically the scenario. Hey, Divine Savage, how are you? I was just putting out a scenario for tonight. And I don't know when you came in, but that's the scenario, guys, right? So let me try to make it more concise. I'm working on it, y'all. You have two individuals, college students, met each other in freshman year, got more acquainted in sophomore year. The gentlemen, both on both sides, they're both intrigued. They're both interested, as it seems, to build to see if maybe there's a potential, right, where they can develop into more of a intimate and close relationship. He goes on her social media. He sees a video that basically raises a red flag for him. And in the video, she's basically having an emotional moment where she is venting about being tired of not being able to find the right one. You know, being tired of feeling like she has to wait, or that she's not doing it right, or that she needs to work on herself more. And so a lot of the phrasing is I, and about what I want and what I deserve. So he was put off for two reasons. One, that she even put up the video and it's on social media. And secondly, the wording in it came off very selfish for him. So that caused him to distance himself from her. They're having a conversation about it now. The video was from a year and a half ago. She feels like in real time, you've been getting to know me. It shouldn't be, this big red flag that you've seen this video from a year and a half ago when you've been dealing with me in real time. And he's like, well, I understand that, but we've only been starting to get to know each other. And if you feel comfortable with going on the internet to display something like that, and you even feel comfortable enough to leave it up there, even if you feel like you've grown, it still is giving a red flag for me. So that's the situation, guys. Whose side do you lean more towards? Do you lean more towards the gentleman, where you think like, oh no, he's using wisdom. He was right to kind of go on her social media to see, right? Because you want to see how a person is, especially if you're, just seeing if they could be a potential partner for you. You want to see. And now, because we have all of this technology, right? Now social media is a place where people can represent themselves, right? And show who they are. And so now, not only do we get to see how people are in real time, in real life, and how they are with their mother, their father, their brother, their sister, etc., uncles, aunties, friends. But now, right, your social media presence can either, right, attract certain people to you or maybe deter people depending on what you put up. So here's a instance or an incident where that's happening. So what do you think? What do you think? Do you think that he's like, no, he's right, it should be a red flag, he's using wisdom, as prevalent as social media is in our life, and also, I guess do I want to say the role it would play or how it would possibly affect the relationship, because it does now, right? That's wise for him to think that way. Or do you agree with her? Like, it was a year and a half ago. You're dealing with me in real time. We're having a good time. Nothing about that while you were engaging with me, came across, and that, you should really use that to be what you use as your filter, or, how you perceive me. So I'm getting some answers. So I am going to read. All right, so Maya says if he's unwilling to deal with character flaws, okay, like selfishness, then he doesn't want to deal with humans. I think that shouldn't be a deal breaker because unless she's emotionally volatile, she may be waiting to update with a testimony. Okay, that's an interesting point of view. To say, look, what the Lord has done with my heart and relationship status. I read that, but I heard your voice, Maya, so that's why I started laughing. Okay, so that's an interesting point of view. Okay, so I got Maya, who it seems, and let me know, Maya, if I'm right, that you're more so leaning towards the woman's side in this, because if he can deal with a little bit of selfishness or character flaws like selfishness, then he's not ready to deal with humans. Interesting. And she said maybe she left it up because now she'll post another video when she does meet the person that she's going to meet. And, it'll be like a testimony. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Emily says, I don't know because not everyone shows their true selves on social media. Very true. So you could get a false sense of who someone is. That's for sure. Absolutely. That's for sure. I like both of your kind of, I guess, the angles that you guys are looking at it. Definitely what Maya said, I definitely wasn't looking at it that way. So that's interesting to hear that. And Emily, definitely what you're saying is very true. And I think when it comes to this situation, I guess whatever video he saw must have put him at a break, a total stop, pause. Depending on what she said, might have came off like definitely a certain way because clearly he's dealt with this woman in person, right? But I think, you know, on social media you can get a false representative, but also in person you can get a false representative. So I think definitely this is something that most definitely is happening in the modern culture of dating, because it's available now. So if you meet someone, like one of the first things you're going to do is check where they are, on social media and what their, presence looks like. And so, yeah, so far, very interesting. Maya says, yes, there are different reasons to keep posts up, not necessarily agreement in real time, but honoring where she was and being open to growing. Now, that's nice. I don't know if I guess I didn't really think about it in that way. So, I'm creating this, I'm thinking out of my little creative hat bag. So I didn't think of it in that way. So she didn't state that to him, but she just said it's a year and a half ago. And so if you are engaging with me in real time and in real time you're enjoying my company, why would you let just seeing this one video distance you from seeing, or learning about me further? So, but you're right. I definitely have seen where people have done that. I think when you're in the dating pool, that can be very risky though, because your social media presence can literally, right? It's like another factor now. So it's like making a first impression, really, to someone. I guess it can be equivalent to that when you're in real time engaging with someone and say you do something that is just off-putting or offsetting to them. It can cause them, right, to say, oh, I don't think I'm going to want to, invest my time and energy to learn about this person more. And that can definitely happen on social media because I think it's equivalent to, like, I'll say to a lot of people, whether it's my clients or things like that, or I'm in a coaching session, when it comes to communication, I'll tell them to write things down because the process of writing something down, it's like it's a more in-depth commitment to what it is that you want to express, right? Because we can get into an emotional state and just like say things off the top of our head and then regret it later and be like, well, I didn't really mean that, but it already came out. Whereas if you're writing it down, you really, have to think about it and really say, okay, I am committed. This is exactly, truly how I feel. And you write it down. And it just gives you more time to process it. That's the best way I can explain it. And I use that example to kind of compare it to social media, because when you put a post and you keep those posts there, there has to be some kind of process, unless you're just not thinking about it at all and not caring about how people are perceiving you, because they are experiencing you on social media too. That's why you have people who block certain people, because of the content that they make either is resonating negativity or it's just not in line with their beliefs. So I think when you do put a post up and you don't take it down, even if it's not representing, who you are, at some point, you're going to want to paint a different picture somehow. And I think not particularly in this situation. I didn't say she had a whole bunch of posts like that, but if you have someone on social media and they have, consistent posts that are themed in a certain way, then that definitely could be, send a pause or red flag to someone. So Emily says, it happens on what, wait, I'm sorry. She said, it depends on what she posted. I only came in on the second half of your explanation. Really good answer. And so I picked a video for you guys. It was the video that I saw that made me think of the scenario. So I'm going to play this video, okay? And I want you to act like this is the girl in the scenario that I, post to you guys. And let me know after you watch this video and what she's saying, if you still are in the same space that you're staying standing ground as far as where you're leaning towards. So I'm gonna play it. Let me and come back to you guys and let me know what your thoughts are. If you can put yourself in his shoes, if you saw this on social media. So I'm gonna play it, and you guys let me know.
Quick question. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I am so sick and tired of just everything right now. Everyone is so quick to say, stop doing this, stop thinking like this, stop telling me I'm wrong. I have literally convinced myself at this point, based on everything that everyone's telling me, my therapist, my family, my friends, that I'm just doing everything wrong. I'm healing wrong. I'm thinking wrong. I'm training wrong. I'm doing relationships wrong. Everything I do is fucking wrong. And I'm so sick of it. Stop comparing. It's not even about comparison. Like, I genuinely just want love in my life so badly. It's literally not about anyone else. It's just about me and what I want. And being fucking over the fact that I don't have it. I feel like I have done so much work on myself. I have built a beautiful life for myself. I'm happy with my life where I'm at, my job. I'm successful. I'm independent. I'm healthier than I've ever been. I take such good care of myself. Truly, the only thing I'm missing in my life is someone to enjoy it with. And I'm so sick of waiting. Like, when is it going to be my turn? What more do I have to do to fix myself before I'm just allowed to be happy? Before I'm allowed to meet this universe soulmate person that God supposedly has for me? How much harder do I have to pray and manifest and wait? I feel like I'm being punished for something I didn't do. And I'm just so tired. I'm so tired. I don't expect a lot. I just want love in my life so bad. I want my life partner. Am I just supposed to be alone? Like, is that the message? That this beautiful life I've built for myself, like, it's just supposed to be me in it alone? Like, I know I have my dog and I love him so much, but like, I need love. All of my friends have their fiancés and their boyfriends and their husbands that they prioritize. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I've been left behind. And I really just want to find that person that matches my energy and wants to build a life with me. Is that so hard?
Okay, that's the video, folks. That is the video. So I'm very curious. Let me know for those of you who, already kind of answered the question, not necessarily, of course, hearing me just giving a overall general type of context to the situation. But now, having this video, you have some kind of real live words that you can kind of base it on. So let me know if you still feel the same, or did that put you over to the side of the gentleman and feeling like that was justifiable reasoning to, I guess, make his judgment or process it in the way that he did. There are a lot of thoughts that I have about that video. On the other side, that doesn't really have to do with necessarily this scenario. I just thought about how much she was like beating her hands, and I just thought about myself because I'm also a person who talks a lot with my hand. Like when I look back at my videos, I'm like, Sharla, like put your hands on your lap and keep them there. I talk a lot with my hands. Now, of course, I'm not like beating my fist. She's passionate about what she's talking about. You get the feeling, the gist that she is tired. Okay. But that's what I thought about that. But that's a side note. That's a side note for me, just to be like, okay, try not to talk so much with your hands. But definitely a lot that she unloaded in that video. And I thought it was good to bring up because I think we live in an era right now where we have so many different resources, and social media is one of them. And I've seen goodness come out of social media, where maybe if someone is having a moment like this, right, and they come on social media and they express their truths or express how they're feeling in the moment, where people kind of rally, in the comments and give them encouraging words and, support to help them kind of get through whatever phase that they're in. More often than not, I see the other side of it, where people will have a moment like this, where they feel like, they're expressing their truth and they're, expressing their authentic self, where, oh my goodness, they get completely trolled, right? There are people trolling in their comments, and they're, doing the complete opposite. So I think because we do have access, where we can literally push a button, like that video that I just showed you guys has 12 million views, guys, right? So she went viral. It has 12 million views. And all I could think of was like, man, that one moment, and, depending on how she's looking at it, right? Because I don't know, it doesn't seem like I come on here. It's premeditated, right? It is intentional that I come on and do these podcasts on Thursday evenings and Sunday evenings, right? And I know what it is, that I prayerfully am trying to create a safe and authentic environment to talk about relationships. And I think about the topics that I'm going to bring to you guys. And I'm grateful, right, that I can be where I am, where I live, and reach, numerous amounts of people that all are across the world, right? And that's a great thing. But I don't know if you have a moment where you push that button and you just felt like you wanted to release or vent that, man, that video goes viral and now 12 million people can see it. Now, you can look at it on one end like, okay, that was a successful, even though it wasn't necessarily like a intentional content that I was putting out. But I did go viral, and maybe she's happy about that, and it brings attention, to her and her page. But I don't know if it's going to help to resolve the very problem that she came on with, that she was expressing about, meaning not being able to find someone, or just being tired of the wait, or feeling like everyone's telling her she's doing things wrong. For that area, which was the whole reason why she came on, right? I don't know if that is going to serve in the right way, So, okay, Emily says she's still on the lady's side. Okay, even after seeing that. Okay, interesting, interesting. So I guess Emily's like, well, what she said wasn't too bad. What she said wasn't too bad. And I think my thoughts on this is that unfortunately we live in a world, and I don't even know if I want to say unfortunately, but right, impressions that you make, especially like first impressions, they mean a lot. And they do mean a lot in the dating space, and they mean a lot in the dating space for women. They mean a lot for men too, but I'm just saying for women because, men are in high demand because they outnumber us across, right? You know, across the world, right? Whereas, you can feel if you're in the dating, process where you're feeling like you're competing, with other women because of, right, the imbalance of it all. So I think there is more pressure that's felt, right, about the first impressions that you make. And so while what, just taking in consideration what Maya said, like, okay, if you can't deal with a little bit of selfishness, then you don't want to deal with a human, But I don't think that if someone presents themselves in a certain way, and in that video, she talked about a lot of eyes, right? It's about what I want. It's about me. And she talked about people in her space, right? Because when you're potentially seeing if someone could be a potential husband or wife or partner for you, you want to see how they, right, interact with the people who are in their inner circle, the people who are around them, because you figure those people would know them best, right? So I'm going to be very observant, right? I'm going to be very observant of how they interact with them, how those people respond back to them. What do they say about that person? So in that video, she said, I'm tired of my parents, my therapist, and basically everybody telling me I'm doing this thing wrong. And she said, basically, don't tell me. Don't tell me. So when you say certain things like that, it gives off the impression that you are closed off from learning. It gives off the impression that the very thing that you want is not necessarily that you are focusing on becoming that. You just want to have it. And I saw a quote, I don't even know if it's a quote, a statement that someone made earlier on that it really resonated with me. It said there is a big difference between wanting to have a husband rather than wanting to be a wife. That's a totally different thing, right? That one is more of an internal process and working on developing whatever character, whatever skill sets it is that you believe or you have seen in healthy relationships, loving relationships that reflect and resonate, a beautiful wife or a good wife or a supportive wife, however you want to say it. And in that video, it's more of a have, right? And a deserving. And just to bring it back full circle with the quotes that I introduced, the quote that I introduced tonight, as well as the question of the night was, what do you deserve in a relationship? And the quote that I put out after that is that you can't say the word deserve without the word serve in it. right? So instead of focusing on what you think, that you deserve to get or experience in a relationship, focus on what you have to offer and how well you'll serve in it. And you guys know, I love chasing the etymological roots of words because the words change a lot from their original meaning when we look at the current way we use it today. And, if you've heard of the word deserve, you think of what I'm worthy to receive or worthy to get, what, whether I've earned, merit and or what warrants me to either experience something. And deserve, that word actually comes from an old Latin word. Then it was like an old French word. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing it exactly right, but it's spelled Deservire in my head, in my little fake accent. In my little fake French accent, I want to believe that it's pronounced Deservire. Okay, y'all, don't pick on me. It was horrible. But anyhow, what that actually means is to actually serve well and zealously. That's what the word deserve means. To serve well and zealously. Very different from what we use today. And so to go back to her video, and her video was titled, Why Am I Single? Right? Why am I single? I think that, yes, in a relationship, there will be points, right, that, we will have selfish moments. But I don't know if people are going to want to sign up for a selfish. You know what I'm saying? It's different when you're in a relationship and that's understood that, yeah, challenges might come. And we know that the relationship process is all about kind of purging our selfishness, dropping the ego to be able to serve one another, right? Yeah, that comes along with it. But if you're going to make a video that you don't know how many people are going to see it, and particularly you're making this video and men are going to see it, I don't know too many men who are going to say, I'm just going to sign up for a woman who sounds very selfish. And she's okay with sounding selfish in this way and put it out on the internet for many people to see. And especially if they can look across, right, around the people who are in their, proximity, or maybe even not in their proximity, and see someone else who they feel like is coming with more of a humble attitude, with a more realistic or truthful understanding of what it takes to have strong, loving relationships, and knowing that it's a lot about serving more than it is than you focusing on what you're getting. Another quote that I saw recently said that marriage is about sharing love, not taking it. And I think that is pertinent to the topic that we're talking about tonight. And, that's it, right? So if you're talking about someone who is, and let's say this gentleman, this person who's like, I'm serious, like who I'm courting, who I am, the women friends that are around me, I want to make sure that she is not just wanting the idea of this relationship or wanting the idea of having a husband and just feeling like I should just deal with her selfishness, right? But I want to see in her speech, I want to see what the people are saying around her. And these are people who are close to her. If you tell me, she said on the video, y'all, her parents and her therapist. And while I appreciate the transparency and the vulnerability, I don't think I'll put it this way, you cannot negate that possibly it was a very emotional moment and the emotions kind of drove her to make this video. Because I do think if she would have sat back and thought, if this is really her intention, right? Because it could be like what Emily said, right? Where people can have a false, representation on the internet. And sometimes they'll make content just to get, right, clicks or wanting to go viral. And maybe that's what matters more than the actual, right, finding someone or getting married. So if that's the case and that was the reality, then kudos to her. She made it. But if that's not the case and she really just was having a kind of an erratic emotional moment, and that erratic emotional moment took over, then the truth is, while we don't want people to judge us on our first impressions, and while we want them to feel like, oh, people are selfish, so it's fine, I'll take you, even though you're saying these selfish phrases, even though you're telling me your therapist and your parents told you this, and you are completely telling them to leave you alone and not tell you you're wrong, I don't think any man who is intelligent or who takes a moment to pause and really vet the person who he is considering to take as either his wife or considering to invest time and energy in is going to just throw that like it's nothing and just say, yeah, I'll sign up for that for sure, real quick, in a hurry. Especially when there might be other prospects that aren't like that, who might say, you know what, maybe I don't know this. Maybe I am lost in the sauce and I'm just confused and I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and I need help and I'm open to learn what it's about. Or even if they're honest and say, I do want this relationship, but I do feel like maybe I am a little selfish and I'm trying to break out of that. That's a different approach, right? That's a totally different approach. And it would be unwise, I do think, for someone to kind of, for that gentleman to be like, okay, yeah, I'll take you. And I think sometimes, that's what we do, because it's like, I'm still just starting to get to know you. And yes, in real time, it's been fun and it's been amicable. And it has done enough to spark my intrigue. And enough to spark my intrigue that I'm going to do my due diligence and seek out who you are more, because I know that people can present something from one angle, especially if they see something that they desire, So let me see how consistent you are, let me see how consistent you are. And when he stumbles upon this, it's like, okay, well, while a year and a half might seem like a long time ago, I think for those of us who know how hard it is to iron out negative tendencies, to break habits that don't serve us, a year and a half is nothing. You know what I mean? You can get on the ball. You can enact certain things, absolutely, but life is going to come and to add that pressure and squeeze to see if you really, okay, are you really, really made of that? You literally have people in relationships that have been unconscious for years, and then they wake up and it's like, oh my gosh, what are we into? So it's a big decision. It's a big decision, whoever it is that you're going to choose for your wife, whoever you're going to choose for your husband. So yeah, you do want to be wise about it. And I don't think what he said was like unwise. I think really honestly, a lot of men would feel that way. And believe it or not, you can, I think her TikTok, just in case you guys want to check her out, and do so, please, because I'm not doing this to like rip her apart or anything like that, but I just thought it would be a great video to kind of analyze and bring out some principles that we can talk about. But I think her TikTok is called Ryan Spencer, Ryan Spencer 51. So if you want to check out her, other videos, I did check out her a little bit, and you'll kind of see some of the other videos that she puts on, where you can kind of see why she might still be single right now, because I think just like in real life, you want to give the person who is engaging with you consistency in the messaging that you're giving them. I think so on social media, you want consistency of the messaging that you're giving people as well. And on her TikTok, it's not consistent. There's some other videos that she has, where it's like, yeah, I'm happy that I'm single and I'm not, wasting my time on, boys and things like that. So it's somewhat of, contradictory type of message. So, but if you go on her TikTok, you'll see some of the men in the comments say, I definitely know, why you're single, because the phrase, the whole, like, just essence of the video it was all about you. It was all about you. And when will it be your time? There was no, it was, the best way I can explain it is that sometimes when people say they deserve things, the ego is talking, the ego is talking, and a lot. And like I just shared the quote with you guys for tonight, that you can't say the word deserve without serve in it. And how the actual, when you chase the root of that word, the etymological root of it, it actually means to serve well and zealously. That means you're serving, and you're not only serving, but you're serving excitedly, right? So it's not from an egoic space of like, okay, insert this person here in my life because I've built all of this and this is all I need. And so why don't I have it? And there's no way, if you start a video out saying it's all about me and everybody who's close to me is saying I'm wrong, but I don't want to hear it. What man who is looking truly for a wife who has some kind of understanding of what a wife's position is, he is not going to jump real quickly to come and wife her up, because he would say that is, I can fast forward this, I'm not that she has to know everything, but there has to be a certain openness and of being and receptivity. That's the best way I can explain it. A certain amount of receptivity that even if you don't know what it is, at least when I come in your space, I can offer this new wisdom to you and you'll wholeheartedly receive it, and it won't be a fight. It won't be a fight with me trying to give you something that would elevate you in your understanding. And so once she says in the video that my parents are telling me this and my therapist is telling me this, and I'm tired of them telling me I'm wrong. Don't tell me I'm wrong. Like, that is a big red flag, because you're going to a therapist for help. This person has done a certain amount, right? At least schooling to be in the place where they can, help you, support you, work out, vices and things that could be holding you back. And once you go on the internet and you say to the people that I told my therapist to stop telling me I'm doing things wrong. So you tell me you paid for that therapist. You believe that therapist is an expertise in whatever, right, area that you went to see them in, but you told them, don't tell me I'm wrong. No man is signing up for that. He's not. Because if you told your therapist and you paid for the therapist, and then you told your parents who birthed you, don't tell me I'm wrong. That is all an individual would need to know to say, do not pass go. I'm stopping right here, and I'm going to look and search out my other prospects to, at least, it doesn't have to, that person doesn't have to be perfect, and we're all flawed, but at least start from a space of where you don't feel like I have to accept your selfishness, or you're going to be completely closed off if I tell you sound information and you refuse to receive it. So I'm definitely leaning towards the gentleman because of that, especially when we put the video that I, had you guys to see, and especially if it's social media. Like, we just had a a live where I played a video from Stephen A. Smith where he said, you know, any woman who puts him on social media, that's it. Like if he sees one picture, one video of on her page of him, the relationship is over, you know, and I get it because he is a person who literally has his own show. So he's a celebrity at a certain level. So yeah, he's going to be seen, and that adds an extra amount of pressure to, you know, a relationship, especially if you're a celebrity, right? Like it adds pressure when you're not a celebrity. So, you know, we I understand that, you know, because you want to give at least authentic space. You want to give the relationship a try where you guys can just be, you know, intrigued with each other and understand each other and be able to have space to grow with each other without all of the rest of the world, you know, throwing their 2 cents in. So I think in this scenario, in this space, it's also that too. It's like, even if you're feeling like that and you're having an emotional moment, you know, just take a moment, you know, take a breather. Maybe even talk to the people in your inner circle and see, you know, even there, I've heard of people who make the video and they save it and they don't necessarily put it out into the world yet. And they might, you know, show it to a friend or something like that and say, do you think I should, you know, put this out? Because then at least you're getting another angle and you're not just doing it in your, in the being highly emotional, you know, about whatever it is, whatever content that you're making. I think that would have been a smart move. But if she's if she's saying that she doesn't necessarily want to hear from her parents or her therapist, then it could be very well that she kind of just like, oh, I'm just gonna hit this button and see what it does, you know. Hey, MF Stars, how are you in the weapon, Mr. Butcher? I don't know if you're still in here. Thank you guys. MF Star says, no big red flags. Please return to sender. Right. Yeah, and actually, resoundingly, a lot of the men said that. They said there's no way. I can definitely tell why she's still single. Because one, they weren't fans of, you know, making content in that way, right? Like where you're having an emotion, just venting online, you know, just venting online. They weren't fans of that. And then secondly, just her wording, right? How she expressed herself, it just was too egoic and selfish for them. And, you know, again, I'll say that quote that I heard, which I think is really great. There's a difference between, you know, wanting to have a husband rather than someone wanting to become a wife, you know, and that could go vice versa, right? There's a difference between wanting to have a wife rather than wanting to become a husband, right? That means you're focusing on developing yourself and personal growth to be able to step in, right? That elevated position in that role and to be in it and serve out of your purpose in it in the best way. It's a totally different thing, you know? Okay, Emily said she has crossed over. Emily has crossed over, guys. She said she is also on the dude side. I don't know if she's crossed over or if she's like, I'm on both their sides. I don't know. Let me know, Emily, if you've crossed over on his side or you're like, I just understand from both perspectives, I guess. And MF Star says, hey, love, just walked in but caught what you said. I appreciate it. Yeah, well, basically the topic tonight was, the question was, what do you deserve in relationships? And then I put out a quote that is mine that I worked on, which I'm still kind of figuring out how I'm going to rework it because I want to make it shorter. But as of right now, the quote goes like this: you cannot say the word deserve without saying the word serve. So instead of focusing on what you deserve to get or experience in a relationship, focus on what you have to offer and how well you'll serve in it. So I used a little scenario to kind of, I guess, bring the whole, you know, quote and question of the night full circle. And you missed the video I played, but I played a video of a young lady who put out a video on TikTok, and she basically was saying, you know, why am I still single? But her verbiage, her verbiage throughout the whole video was like, it's about what I want, And she said she talked to her parents, she talked to her therapist, and they're all saying she's doing it wrong, and she doesn't want to hear that she's wrong anymore. And how long does she have to wait, or how much more does she have to fix herself to find her person? So there were a lot of phrases in there that put up red flags, especially if you hear someone say how much I have to fix myself, right? As far as when somebody has that type of attitude about the process of healing that all of us have to go through, right? Let's be clear. No one leaves this earth without having to go through some kind of process where they're challenged, whether they're challenged in their character or they have experienced something that, that they have to grow through. I don't think anyone leaves this earth, right? Even if it wasn't something that was traumatic, that some people have gone through, we all are going to experience, right? In having someone who we wholeheartedly probably embrace or love in our life, and we all have to experience loss, right? As like loved ones who might pass away, right? I don't think there's any way of escaping this process of life that we're in without experiencing hurt or pain or suffering in some kind of way. It's not such a negative thing. It's just a part of the process. A lot of the gems that we extract from life come from sometimes the hurt that we experience or the suffering that we experience. And there's one thing that my husband always says that I love. He says, sign up for the suffering before the suffering comes to you. And I always think about that. I exercise. I wake up like 4. I have clients. If you click the link in my bio, for those of you who are on Instagram or on Facebook or any of the other platforms, I have now a part of my Forever Friends Academy membership an exercise program that goes along with the coaching. And that just evolved. That's not even something that I was intending or planning to do, but I've literally exercised since I was 9 years old. Thankful to an aunt of mine's got me started really early, and I've been doing it ever since. I've exercised while I was pregnant, all kinds of things. So, my clients have seen that, people in my inner circle have seen that, and then when I did my individual private coaching with some of my women clients, oftentimes to kind of get them on a great routine to change the habits that that they're in, I'll challenge them to wake up and sign up for the suffering through exercising. And I do like accountability calls. I call them. We wake up like 5 a.m. every 4 to 5 days out of the week, and we exercise, so that they can sign up for the suffering, right? But it's suffering. It's like negative right word or has negative connotations to it, but when you exercise, you push through the burn, right? Like you breathe through the burn so that you don't quit, because at some point, right, it's going to end. At some point it's going to stop, and it's a great actionable thing that you can do that helps you go through life situations and circumstances too, because life is like that as well. Like whatever suffering you're going through, this process is transient, so it's going to end at some point. So breathe through the burn, push through the burn, talk to yourself through the burn, in that same way. So, if a man is on social media, or even in the scenario that we said with this young lady, where this guy was, intrigued and wanting to see where his relationship with her could go, but then when he goes to her social media and he sees that video, I think the choice that we all have is, what type of suffering do we want to sign up for, right? Like if I sign up to do exercise, that's the suffering that's not going to like beat me down. You know what I mean? To where it's going to break my heart and my soul. And, it's a healthy suffering that I'm signing up for that is going to reward me with discipline and consistency and help me to persevere through life circumstances in the same way that I do when I'm persevering through the exhaustion of my muscles or pushing my body past limits that I didn't think I could. That's a different thing, right? So if he sees that video, or if there are any potential mates that see her video, that man is going to ask himself, do I want to sign up for this? Is this a suffering that I want to sign up for? Knowing what I'm hearing her say, you know what I mean? Knowing what she's saying, when there could be someone out there who's just either naturally more receptive, or even if they're not naturally more receptive, they're still willing to learn because they don't want to stay where they are, right? That's a totally different thing. MF Star says, is she sure she wants a relationship? She sounds pretty self-centered, more like she wants someone to glorify her. If she's that focused on herself and her way, where's any room for the guy? Yeah, and that's basically, if you saw the video, that's exactly how it came off. It came off like, I've built this great life, and now all I'm missing is just the piece to the puzzle is a guy. You kind of like insert him right here, as if relationships could be that easily, started or, done that way. So he didn't even see the video, but just from me explaining the context, he's already getting, right, the vibe and the essence of it. And honestly, like I said, you can go on TikTok and see the video. She's Ryan Spencer 51, Ryan Spencer 51. And you'll see that unanimously, like, the men are saying that. And what's interesting is that you can see the divide that's going on now, where the men are like, heck no, I would not sign up to marry a woman like that. But then you have the women in the comments who are like, like rooting for her, like, yes, like, exactly my feelings, exactly my sentiments, and that's, you can see the divide that's going on right now. But I thought it would be a great way to kind of introduce the question that I had for tonight, like, what do I deserve in relationships? And as well as the relationship coaching, I do performance coaching because I sing. And I also, most of you guys probably don't know this, but my first love was actually acting. I started singing later. And so I do performance lessons for singing and acting, and those who would go for like auditions, whether it was, auditioning for college or auditioning to be in some kind of musical. So I would merge like the acting and singing together. And one of the things I used to let them do is I would have them stand in a mirror and I would have them repeat these phrases that I want love, I deserve love. And then the last one was, I am love. And I remember I used to ask them, how did they feel saying each one, And it'll always be like this process of like, if I say I want love, I feel like I'm reaching outside of myself. And then when I say I deserve love, it's almost like I feel like in the way that we use it today, right? It's like, I'm worthy of love. Like, yes, I deserve this. But then when I say I am love, it's like, just a complete, like, it's not without me, right? Like the want is kind of like a reaching out. So it kind of makes you feel, what's the word? It almost kind of, the way they would explain it almost makes you feel insecure, like you're depending on someone to give it to you for you to fully, experience it. And then when they got to deserve, they felt like more empowered, like it's almost like a demand, like I deserve love. But then when they would say I am love, it would just kind of just like a peace would come over them. And so I think it's interesting, as we're having this conversation, especially MF Stars, you weren't here, but I told them the etymological root because I like to chase roots of words. Yeah, I love words. But when you chase the etymological root of that word, it's actually an old Latin word, an old French word, deservire. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's spelled Deservire. And actually, the root of meaning of the word is to serve well and zealously, right? So a lot different from the way we use it now, It's a lot different from the way we use it now. But the actual original usage of the word is probably the best way to apply it to developing our relationships, right? It's probably the most truthful part of it, which is like, yeah, if you really want to become a husband, if you want to be a wife, and you're not just thinking and falling in love with the idea of being in a relationship or the idea of being in a marriage or just wanting to have something, that it's something that you have to be, right? It's literally something that you have to want to become, not to perform for someone else, but to actually intrinsically want it for yourself, because that whatever skill sets or principles that you're learning or that you're taking on, that you're equipping yourself with, is not only going to make you become a great wife or a great husband, but those same principles and skill sets are going to make you excel in all of the other areas of your life too, right? If you're talking about taking on the fundamental principles of it. And so, yeah, when you think about what you deserve, think about the etymological actual, usage of the word, which means to serve well and serve zealously, right? And I love the zealous part, because if any of you are on here who've been in a long, term relationship or marriage, you know how the honor can start to slip, right? You might not serve the same way you did when you were dating in the beginning, or quote unquote in the honeymoon stage. You can kind of take advantage, or take for granted that person's presence in your life. So you don't serve with the same amount of zeal that you had in the beginning. So I love that. That's a part of the meaning, and the definition of the word: serve well and zealously, right? So I think when you meet a person, and for any of you single ladies who are listening, because I don't want to say don't put, something on social media or things like that. I do think if you are in the single space, you do want to think about a lot of the feedback that she has received, which I have also seen on other videos too, that men don't necessarily like that. Understandably so, right? Because I think in the back of their mind, they're going to think, if you are with me and we're going through something, are you just going to press record and air it all out, right? You know what I mean? I guess it's like what people think about Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. Like, are you going to think about what you're going to say, and how that's going to impact our marriage, or how it's going to stain our legacy? Right? Those things matter. They matter, especially in this space, because listen, I just played her video. It's not, that's not her channel. Right? But I played her video, and I'm sure other people have too. So you put it out there, and even if you delete it, somebody might have access to it, of what you just said, So now this thing lives on, even though you might not have wanted it to. So I think naturally so, they would think, a little twice, in wanting to know if that's something you would do, and how that would, reflect on them. MF Star said something, so I want to, that is hilarious. He said, so let's find her a beta simp. Oh my goodness. He said, I'm sure men who don't have much value in themselves would be down to, oh my goodness, would be down to marry her. Oh my word. I'm going to do a whole podcast on that, because I'm like, I'm so interested in this, alpha man and beta, so all that stuff. Anyway, that's going to be another podcast. Let me stay on, course. But as I was saying, right, there has been breakdown, in certain families, right, and how they're looked at now in the public eye, because things weren't really fully thought out in what was being shared or expressed. I just heard someone else who has a podcast. I forget the gentleman's name, but he has a podcast, and he was taking a snippet from LeBron James' wife, which I didn't know she has a podcast now. I think it's called Everybody's Crazy or something. And he was stating that he really, out of, he doesn't really look to celebrity couples, but out of all the ones that are out there, he really was saying he really admires her as a wife and a woman and how she handles herself. And he was saying, I don't know, his feelings about her having a podcast, because he was like, man, I've just seen it all kind of go down the drain, or the the family's name gets stained if she doesn't use her words carefully, right? Because people will try to twist it. That's naturally going to happen. People are going to try to twist what she said and try to make it out to be something that it's not. And then more importantly, right, like Maya said, we're human, and sometimes you might have a slip up and you might not say, maybe what you intended or articulate in the right way. I say that all the time, right? About myself, because I come on here, but I'm not just representing myself, right? I'm representing my husband, I'm representing my family. So, I'm careful to be prudent about the things that I express and the things that I say, while still there's a way to do that, to still be, because everybody now is like, oh, you got to be true to yourself, you got to express your feelings. And yeah, I get it and I understand that, but that does not negate from you having to filter and use wisdom with what you're saying, because that's like, if you don't do that, then you're not letting yourself grow. First of all, that's like me introducing the quote I introduced to you guys tonight, and I said, oh, I want to make it shorter. I want to make it more concise so that it can just be kind of, shorter and people get it. So, that's a part of your personal development. And I think it's healthy, because you're going to have to do that when you're in a one-on-one relationship anyway, with your husband or your wife. You're going to want to use your words season your words with wisdom before you say it, so that the message that, and the essence of the message that you're delivering is coming across in the way that you intended it to. So I think, unfortunately, with how social media is today, that people just get on to say anything, especially when you know that you're going to have to deal with the negative, ignorant comments, who would just waiting for you to say something wrong so they can spin it in the wrong way. So I think it's important. I think we just talked about last week, when my topic was, can a man lead without God? I was telling them that one of the podcasts that I watch from time to time, Club Shay Shay, how he was sharing his opinions about Shaquille O'Neal's ex-wife, Shawnee Henderson is now her name, but she came out with a memoir, and in the memoir, she basically put that she doesn't think she ever loved Shaquille O'Neal. And for him, he said he didn't think that was a great statement to make about the father of your children. And not only the father of your children, but you kept that name up until you got remarried, and that name helped you build an empire, as well as him behind the scenes, even when he wasn't married to you, helped build this empire that you are, basically living, on and through. And so there's a way that you can express your truth without damaging the legacy, because it's not only you that you're expressing it to, number one, and for, but you also have kids, you have children. So the impact of your children hearing that, it can have a negative effect. And so you want to think about that, as far as how you articulate these feelings that you feel like is you desire, or is a need for you to express. There's a way to express it without tainting the legacy. So I think all of those things tie into the video that she made. But I'm thankful, that she made it. It helped me. It helped me present something to you guys tonight. When I saw it, I was like, oh, this would be great. It's perfect with the quote, that I'm thinking of. But, as I said, I definitely lean towards the gentleman side on this. I would love to think of it in the way that when Maya was on, that she said that maybe she didn't remove that video because she's waiting, to update and put another video when she finds her person to tell the people, I guess, that she's no longer in that state and she's in a different state. But I don't know how many people really do that, I don't know how many people really do that. And here's the thing, when you have a video that's viral in that way, even if it's the fact that you really do desire a husband, right, it's going to be always that tug of war. Like, do you take that down? Right? Because the video's gone viral now, so now it's like success, I guess, in some way in that area versus what I truly desire and what I truly want. And is this really reflecting it, or is this going to even attract that person, And what I thought about was the conversation we were having last week when I asked the question, can a man lead without God? And then I thought today, like, well, can a woman attract a husband without God? I don't want to say a man because we already know that answer, right? Like, she most definitely, you know what I mean, can attract just any old man, without God. But can she attract a husband without God? And really what that means is just without the wisdom. And the truth is, it's the same answer that we answered last week. Like, can a man lead without God? Yeah, absolutely. We've seen it through history, right? But the repercussions are not the fruit of the Spirit, right? Because he's not drawing his strength from God, right? And he's not, I guess that's where all the talk about toxic masculinity and the patriarchy in a negative light, usurping of authority and power and things come into play. Because, if that person's not leaning or gleaning, or aligned in God and taking his strength from where his source, then he's going to be out of position, first of all, when he doesn't submit to that. So it's going to be very hard for someone who's out of position to be able to serve and another person, and love them authentically. And I think that's also the same for women too, right? Because I think in that moment, that's where you get the wisdom to actually, express yourself and articulate or think about the different other aspects in that way, So, but great conversation. Great conversation tonight, guys. Thank you guys for being on with me, all of you guys. Oh my goodness, Miss Mary, I love you. How are you? I'm wrapping it up now because I've been out here for a while. But all of you guys who came on, MF Stars, Emily, as always. I'm probably gonna miss some of you guys' names. The weapon, but all of you guys who came in to pop in and have a conversation with me. I always appreciate it. As I always say, you could be anywhere in the world. So the fact that you gave me a little bit of your priceless energy and time, I so appreciate it. And I will be back on Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to have another conversation with you guys. So if you take away anything from tonight, answer the question that I gave you. What do you deserve in a relationship? By thinking and reflecting on the quote that I put out tonight that I have curated and I'm still working on. But remember that you can't say the word deserve without the word serve in it. So if you are a person who's in the season of your singleness and you want to attract, the right partner, the right person for you, the husband, the wife, etc., remember that. And remember that if you're going through a process, right, whether it's a process of healing, whether it's a process of just really understanding the nature of relationships or what characteristics or personal development it takes to want to step into the role of, because we all don't have to, right? It's a choice to step into the role of husbandry or becoming a wife. Remember, it's not a performative thing. People can perform, but you really want to go through intrinsically like an authentic process within yourself. And instead of thinking of, okay, I want to have a husband or I want to have a wife, instead of thinking I want to have a husband, say, oh no, I want to be a wife. And what does that mean? What does that look like? Maybe you have some people in your family that you can look to. Miss Mary was just on here. I always say her and her husband are relationship goals for me and my husband because they've been married for umpteenth years, right? So I observe her quietly, from afar and see, as far as motherhood and how she is as a wife in whatever states that I can see it, and pull from it, So I think that way, think that way and think, instead of the deserving and coming at it like what someone can give me or what I can experience from someone, you definitely want to start with the place of what deserve really meant in its original usage, which means to serve well and zealously. So if you're around a person and you're inspired to serve them, and they're inspired to serve you, and you're inspired, you guys are both inspired to serve with each other, and that's a good foundation. That's a great start, it's a good fit. But you want to start there because don't let them lie to you. It's not that this person, you're going to meet this person and they're just going to, you're going to take the love from them and they're just going to give you, everything you want. It most definitely is not like that. Real authentic love is about serving the person that you're with and serving each other zealously. I think that's important because that zealous part can definitely run its course over time once we start taking for granted the people who we have. So I think it's a good reminder that we won't always have their presence. So while they're here and you have their presence, bask in it. Bask in the love that they are willing to share with you, and they do the same for you. And make sure that honor stays on high, so that you can serve them well, but serve them, zealously as well. So great conversation, guys. Hey, Eddie, how are you? Congratulations on your beautiful, 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 beautiful new baby. That is honestly, I think one of the best moments and feelings in life. I don't know if there's any other feeling when you see the two became three, and you see that child and, they there's a reflection of both of you in that child. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't know. So you can't, it's an indescribable moment and feeling. So God bless you, to you and your beautiful family. And God's blessing to you guys. I appreciate you popping in. All right, well, I'm going to get up on out of here. Great conversation. Like I said, I'll be back on Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with another topic to talk to you guys about. All right, until then, serve. Do what you deserve, which means you're going to serve. You're going to serve, and you're going to serve well and zealously. All right, but I appreciate you guys' time. All right, and as always, until next time, always remember to live, to love freely. Bye. Oh, wait. I'm sorry, I forgot. Can't go yet. Subscribe, like, comment to my Forever Friends Academy YouTube page. That's where you'll see all the full live episodes, and it'll help me out because if you think this is good content that needs to be spread, right? That'll help a lot of people in their relationship EQ and development. Then share it. All right. So please, okay. So like, subscribe, and comment, and share, and tell your family and your friends, okay, to do the same. All right, and come and join our conversations Thursday evening at 8 p.m. and Sunday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right? If you want to do that, click on the link in my bio on IG. If you're on Twitch, Facebook, etc., all the other platforms, the link is in the description. So I'll thank you in advance. All right, now I can get off. Always remember to live, to love freely. Bye, guys. Good night, Emily. Love you. Thank you for popping in as always. Appreciate you. Bye.